Hey everyone, my name is Ramneet, and today we are going to take a little bit of look at CBT model and what it is, um, how we can use CBT model in our daily life, especially when we're going through something difficult or something has happened in our life and we don't know how to react to it. The CBT model can really help to change the way we look at situations and change the way we behave to certain events in our life. So to get started, what is CBT? CBT is a type of psychotherapy called cognitive behavioral therapy. And essentially the point behind CBT is that there's an event that occurs in your life, which then provokes thoughts, leading to emotions, and then a behavior. So how you think really determines how you feel and how you behave. And at any point in that circle, you have the power to change the ultimate consequence. So you can either, in that circle, you can either change the thought that occurs, or if you're not able to change the thought, then you can change your emotion or behavior. So essentially something happens, you have the thought based on what has just occurred, then you experience an emotion based on these thoughts, and you respond to your thought and feeling with a behavior. And these behaviors can be learned behaviors, culturally, socially, with our upbringing, maybe based on how certain things you've undergone or any traumas you've experienced. So the behavior is really dependent. The situation could have been triggering, so the behavior could be a response to that. So yeah. So we'll give an example of Cheryl here. The situation is that a stranger scowls at Cheryl while passing her on the street. Cheryl's thoughts are, I must have done something wrong. I'm so awkward. And then Cheryl's emotions based on that thought is she's embarrassed and upset with herself. And Cheryl's behavior then would be apologizing to the stranger and replaying the situation over and over and again in her head, trying to understand what she did wrong. So in this situation here, we can clearly see that Cheryl's behavior is tied closely together with her emotion. So because of her embarrassment and because she's upset with herself, there's a lot of self-blame that's being played out. There's a lack of understanding of why that could have happened or how is that happening to Cheryl. So her thoughts were clearly irrational and not rational in this scenario. And the stranger could be scowling or looking at Cheryl for many reasons. Her thoughts affected how, she feels and she behaves. And so using the CBT model, we can really learn to identify our own patterns of thoughts and emotions and behaviors based on Cheryl as an example. And moving into the activity, this will really help us to kind of use the CBT model in our daily life. So I want everybody to think of a situation that has occurred in their life today or this week, maybe that upset them or made them have an irrational thought. And I'll wait for you to get a piece of paper and pen, or if you want to type it out, that's okay too. And I just want you to take that moment to write about that event that occurred. Now I want you to think about what emotion it evoked in you. So maybe if you had a car accident this week, was there some fear around that? Were you angry? Were you sad? What was going on when that initial incident happened? If you got in a fight with somebody, a family, relative, friend, what emotion came out? And now I want you to take a moment to think about your behavior according to your emotion. So how did you react? What were you, if you were angry, how did you react? Did you flip your finger or, did you yell at the person? Was there any physical alterations? If it was a sadness, emotion filled with sadness, what did you do? Did you cry? Did you go for a walk? Did you What was your reaction? Now, taking a moment, I want you to look at the situation from a neutral standpoint and think of how you would have responded if you thought of the person in that situation as just having a bad day. So if somebody did, hit your car, I want you to really change that scenario of how dare they hit my car to something different, to something positive. If you got in a fight, I want you to look at the situation from a different lens rather than they were wrong, they hurt me, they deserve it. I want you to try to understand from their perspective what was going on. And once you've written that down, I now want you to try to understand what your behavior would be now. Now that you have changed the scenario and changed the thought and the emotion that originally was occurring, what would your behavior be now? Would there be an apology? Would there be, a difference in the way you handled that situation? So the CBT model really does allow you to kind of understand this better. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience, but it's definitely something that can be done. So thank you again for listening to me today, and I will be back next week with another weekly Skill Hub.